Afternoon. Just got to be streaming a bit more of my progress on my Game Jam 192 entry. The themes are water levels are rising. So here's where we are. Just a tiny little bit of playing around with the level last night after I'd finished streaming, but didn't really do a great deal more. So I think first off today I'm going to add another collectible in that'll boost your oxygen levels when you collect it. So I've added a few more layers as well. I've split things out. So we'll add a Sprite. Make it 16 by 16. Let's try to give it a colour that I've not really used in the level for now, just to make it stand out until I draw proper sprites for stuff. Just so we know it's oxygen, I'll just put ox on there. Just reset the image points and check it's got a big enough bounding box. That'll do for now. I'll change it when I get the final sprite done. Hey Josh, how are you doing? Got you on while I work for inspiration. Inspiration, that'll be funny, me. I'm just starting to, since I streamed last night, I've just added a tiny little bit of structure to play around with. Just, I'm still not 100% feeling this game. I can still see that maybe tomorrow I'll come up with another idea and scrap it, but I've got to keep going with it for now. So I'm just making an oxygen collectible that'll hopefully boost your oxygen. I think I'll add a new sprite sheet for an event sheet for collectibles. Try and keep things separated out and tidy. So when on collision with another object, that being the player, what do we want to do? We want to increase the player's oxygen, so we will add to the oxygen level. We'll just add half to it for now. When we get some levels created, we'll see if that actually works or not. Hi Samuel, you alright? Same for me, finished my runner game. Thanks for the comment. Yeah, no problem. I really enjoyed it, to be honest. It was... Did you just create that? Was it just yesterday you did that? Because if so, it was pretty good for the one day. Although I did find the music very irritating. I think I got a score of just short of 4,000 on it. The guy had changed from an ape to pretty much a full running human. Hi Sticks, you're not finished yet, Josh. Hi, what are you feeling? I don't know, I just don't know whether it's got to be fun or not. I often get like this when I'm starting a game, especially in game jams. I get about a day and a half in and I just think, is what I'm creating going to be fun? I know I did it with Jamoween. I changed after a day. The last movie game jam, I did the same. I changed my game completely about 12 hours in. Now Stick's doing some shader stuff, trying to get my riverbed filling up. Looking forward to seeing that. You've got to do some sort of shader on the water to make it look pretty realistic. Hi Coconut Dev, you alright? I keep missing your streams, Coconut. That's always my thing too. Is it fun? Yeah, I think once... The problem when I do stuff, I like to set stuff up with basic shapes, but until it's actually got some pixel art in there, I don't find anything particularly fun. So I think once I've got a few more mechanics in place, I'll probably get around to doing some pixel art, maybe on a stream tonight or something. Yesterday, wanted to get it out of the way to work on my car racing game. The music is class. Yeah. Right, so what was I doing? Got 50 seduction level. I think I've already got a limiter in, so that should just up that to 50. Why is that not working? Destroy it as well. Oh no, why is that not working? That should be the simplest thing in the world. Sprite oxygen boost. It's got a collision shape. Not really going for super realistic. I want to do as much as possible in the shader though. Hey Richard, can you maybe show really fast how to let a sprite spawn randomly in your layout? Few ways of doing it. One way, if you want to randomly spawn... Right, I'll randomly spawn a sprite that'll randomly spawn somewhere on this level, so... Let me just create something to randomly spawn. Right, so say you want to spawn one of these randomly on here. One way of randomly spawning it is if you just system every 4 seconds you could just randomly spawn, use stick it on any live, it doesn't really matter. Let me just get my... So that's 288.160, so we'll spawn it on Y160 between 0 and 608. and then set the Y to that. So that should now randomly spawn you a sprite. Spawned one there. Spawned another one there. Another one there. So that's all that's doing. That's one way of randomly spawning something. Is you can randomly set the coordinates. Sort of what that does is get a random number between 0 and 608 and rounds it down. So it's just always a whole number. So that'll randomly spawn on the X. You could do the same for the Y. Is that the sort of thing you were meaning, Coconut? Or another way would be you could randomly place sprites around that use as spawning points and pick one of those at random, just using the pick from the system, and choose those as the position to spawn things at. And you can spawn random time delays. It just really depends what you're wanting to do. Hopefully that helped a bit. Right, so why wasn't this oxygen's working? Right, I know why it wasn't, because I've not included the event sheet in my main game sheet. So get that, and it boosts the oxygen. So we have an oxygen collectible. Pop that up there for now. Next, let's get some basic mechanics in for a net patrolling left and right enemy. Don't need it to have the platform behaviour because it's going to be imitating swimming, because it's got to be something like a shark or fish going backwards and forwards. So let's, on the enemies layer, create an enemy, add another sprite. This can be a shark. Just make it with a placeholder box for now. Right, we'll create an enemies event sheet. Remember to import that into the game this time. Thank you, you're such a legend. Thanks, cheers. Yes, this is what I meant. Yeah, there's tons of ways of randomly spawning things. If you know sort of the XY coordinates, the random thing's good, or if you specifically want to have it spawn just at set locations, just pop a load of sprites about and then randomly pick those. Do you use construct free, Coconut? I know I've seen you using Godot. Right, enemies. So we'll give this an instance variable, which will be a bool, and we'll call that moving right. Initially set that to true. I'll use this to toggle whether it's going left or right. Yes, cool, you do. Right. So we'll give the shark 8 direction behaviour. And I only want this to be moving left and right. We don't want default controls, and we don't want any angles set in when it's moving. We'll just flip it left and right. So we'll compare that bool that we added. And if it's moving right, we'll simulate control as if it's been pressed right, and then we'll add an else. Just copy that down there and set that to moving left. So that should mean that if I move that, that should now just straight away start moving right. But of course I can't see it. Just move the player out of the way, and I'll just pop it on this level for now just so we can see it till I get a camera sorted. So yeah, it moves right, just keeps going right. What I need to do on collision with another object, I think that should yep, so that's now going left and right. Every time it hits the solid, I toggle that left and right bool and it makes it go backwards and forwards. Probably going a little bit too fast. Maximum speed, try 60, just see what that looks like. Yeah, that's a better speed. Working on my Xander Jam game. This was the last mechanic I needed, thank you. Cool, what sort of game are you making? Missed a big chunk from yesterday, Richard. What do you have to do in the game? Right, the game, it's a work in progress, but the main aim, you're in a sunken ship and it's been flooded. The water level has been rising and it's flooded the ship. There's a pump which you'll use to get rid of the water, but there's going to be these pipe pieces sort of dotted around the level. I'll have a pipe system sort of that connects up to this pump, but there'll be some missing pieces, so you'll have to pick up the corresponding pipe piece, say that one, it'll be somewhere in the level, and then take it to that point. And then once you've hooked them all up, the pump will start working and drain the level. The water will then just fade away and you'll move on to another level and just rinse and repeat. When you're underwater, there's an oxygen bar, so you've got to be losing oxygen when you're underwater. So it'll be a case of either picking up the oxygen booster or popping your head back out at the surface water, or in these sort of areas like this where there's a little air pocket, and it'll just be a case of finding your way around. I'm thinking I may add a sort of lighting effect with a layer on top, just so that you can only see a rough area around the player. Maybe have a few sort of flickering lights dotted about as well that light up bits, but that'll all be once I've got the basic game mechanic in place. So that's a brief description there, Samuel. Right, so we've got a basic left and right enemy working. What I will do is clone that, and we will make another enemy that's just moves up and down for now. And we'll call this Octopus, although that might change because I'm not sure whether I fancy droid in Octopus. So we could have those maybe moving up and down the lift shaft. Planning on having, if I do continue with this, different levels. You'll be in like the posh parts of the ship, and other bits you'll be swimming around the engine rooms and things. So hopefully I can add a few different hazards in that'll help or hinder you. I actually really like this idea. Yeah, talking it through then, I sort of thought, yeah, I think I'll stick with it. Right, so this one, we want it to only have up and down movement. I'll change this to have it moving up initially. And then it's basically a case of just duplicating all those. So we will replace the object in there. So we'll replace this shark object. Oh wait, I can't do that at the minute. I'll just change that variable back to moving right, just so I can quickly replace all the objects. They have to have the same named variable on them. So replace those for octopus. That changes them all. And I'll just do the minor things. If it's set, moving up. If it's not set, moving down. And now I can change that instance variable's name to moving up. And it changes everything in here to moving up, moving up. Save where I'm up to. And as you can see, we've got an enemy that moves up and down now.
These are 10 things to never say on a first date. Take note.
Right, I think I'll got quite a lot of mechanics in there. I'm just thinking what else I probably need for now.
I believe in reproductive rights too.
The oxygen goes down.
Have you heard of the men's rights movement?
I've got the system collecting the pipes working. The pump triggers to being switched on when you've fitted them all up. Yeah, I think what I'll probably do now is make a start on some pixel art.
Hey, you want to meet my parents next weekend?
Something very classic about it, like an Atari game. I mean that in a very positive way. I'm struggling to remember a game that's similar. Yeah, I think probably games that I'd link it to. It's got a bit of hint of Scuba Dive from the Spectrum, Underworld from the Spectrum. You can tell when I grew up, everything's related to the Spectrum.
Be right back. I just have to do a number 2.
Take inspirations for most of my games from that sort of era. As anybody knows me knows that.
But my recent financial troubles.
Right. Let's get a Sprite fired up.
Not counting what's probably going to happen later. How many other guys from Tinder have you slept with?
Right, so how big's player's 32 pixels tall.
Can I take this call? It's my ex.
That's 32, so how big have I got these?
Probably nerdcore.
So the corridors have got roughly 64, which looks about right with a player, so let's make a rough start on some backgrounds for these. So file new, I'll make the tiles 32 by 64 for now. Right, first thing, I need to choose a colour palette. I'll probably go to one of the ones that I normally use. Same for me, but with the C64, better than Spectrum, obviously. Yeah, Playground Battles. My Spectrum was always better than the 64. I just like the... I know there weren't as many colours visible on screen, but I just like the... It seemed a higher resolution. More detailed artwork, but they're both good consoles. I've actually this week started learning a bit of 6502 assembly language with the aim eventually of writing some Commodore 64 stuff. Starting off trying to make some games, a game for the Atari 2600, because that was my first ever console, so I thought if I'm going to try assembler, that'll be logically the first thing I'll make it for. And they use the same processors, so should be some progression there. Right, do I go I like the Journey palette, because I often use that one. That's quite a nice palette. Or do I limit myself a bit more and go for something a little bit less? I like the Rosy 42 one. Yeah, which is going to have the most colours that I need in. I'll go with the Journey one and we'll have a few more colours. Right. What I think this background it's going to... What I'm going to do is like some tiles for the background walls, so I think I'll do it so it's like split in two with like a dado rail on there, so there'll be like maybe a bottom half wood effect and the other half solid. So what sort of colour shall we go for? So I'll do it just under halfway. I'll have the bottom half sort of a wood panelling. And we'll add another layer, and I'm just going to draw like a portal, sort of a goldy colour. How close? I don't think we're off centre there, but 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, it's roughly centre. I'll have a nice sea view out of the window, I think. Let's make this portal a bit thicker. Right, so we've got a rough portal there, dividing sort of wall. Add a little bit of shading onto this. I'm using my mouse today. I don't often use my mouse now. I tend to use my drawing tablet, but that's set up on my other computer, so Trying to do the light normally coming from the top left. My dream would be to make a real C64 game. I saw your Atari stuff, looks painful. Yeah, but I actually really enjoyed it. There's something quite, I don't know, really nice when you get something very simple working, knowing that you've pretty much done it all. You've told the processor exactly what to do to get what you want to happen. I'm really enjoying it. There's so many things I want to make. I never actually finish anything, so could probably do with getting some stuff finished. That'll do, I think. Maybe might not have enough pixels to add some Vivid type looks to it, but let's have a look. Yeah, I don't like that green colour. Sort of randomly put those, but gives it a sort of look I'm looking for. Maybe just add a little bit of shading around the bottom of them to make them stand out. Well, it's quite difficult with pixel art because you've got so few pixels to actually make things work. You could probably get away with one shadow under each. Yeah, I think that'll be enough. Right, so let's go back onto the other layer. Just hide that for now. Right, some nice wood colours. So I'm wanting these to tiles, so I need to try and calculate them so they will. 4, 6, 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right, it's not going to tile exactly, but once I start making them a little bit less uniform in the style, hopefully it'll work. Right, so really these are going to be the dark bits, so I really don't like drawing wood. It's something I always struggle with. Try and make the planks just slightly different sizes and shapes. That'll do for now. I'm wondering whether I might have been better using some of these colours. Yeah, I think I will. Less saturated. Work out what I'm doing. I'm just going to try putting some highlights where sort of the wood might catch the light. Sort of little bits on these sort of joins where the edges of the boards will be. Actually done that all wrong. It would be roughly, it'd be on these sort of edges where it would catch the light. Like I say, I don't like doing wood. A little bit of sort of grain into the woods. Sort of a knot. Not looking too bad. Not the best work I've ever done, but it is only a game jam, I suppose. Yeah, not that happy with this, but it is what it is. No, not happy with that at all. I think I may have to change that at some point, but for now, it's what I'm going to go with. Done better, but I've also done worse, so... Right, when the portal's there, I'm going to paint on this layer just a little bit of shadowing under. Then I can export a sprite with the portal and one without. Add a bit of shading, dither into that. That'll do for that. Right, let's add a little rail. A little bit of shading underneath this rail. We'll call that background tile 1. And then save that as tile 2 without the portal. Right, let's add those into the game. Load it in. Set the origin to the top. So let's just rename these. We'll call it corridor background 1. They're not looking too bad now they're actually in the game. They seem to tile okay. Probably add a little bit more texture to the background because it's just a bit solid at the moment. And I think I'll do some tiles has got to be doors in, and I'll maybe put painting, some lights on some of them. Well, this picture through the portal's probably not accurate because the thing's being flooded and sunk, so it probably should just all be one blue colour in there, but sort that out in a bit. you still about, Sticks? I just wondered, are you streaming this afternoon or this evening at any point? Let's get a Sprite up. Let's add another layer. Go back to saving it as my Sprite file with the layers. So we shall add a picture frame on this one, I think. Do a nice little painting on here of a tree on a hill, maybe. Nice shadow coming from the tree. Nice blue sky, and there we have masterpiece. So let's create a frame for this picture. Make it quite a fancy frame. So it's 26, so .32 wide, so we want that to be at 14, 4. So what's everybody up to today? Just most of you game jamming, I think, from what I know of you all. You're making good progress. Right, I think we'll stick with that for the picture for now. Just add a little bit of shading under the picture like we did with the porthole. Can't remember what I'd drawn then. Right, save that as another background. Background 3. Now let's import that into construct as well. Duplicate, clone background 2. Now we have a nice painting as well. Not 100% happy with this wood effect, but I think with the palette I've chosen it's probably as good as I'll manage to get. I think what I'll probably do is add a little bit of shading on the top of the walls, just because it's got to be as if it's got a ceiling there. So we'll go back to the layer, get that colour, go slightly darker. Just randomly add a little bit of shading there at the top. And then we'll save that as background 3. And hide that, show that, save that as 2. Hide that. What have I done? I've done it on the wrong layer. Have I? No, I didn't. It's just off the top of the screen. And then save the whole thing as the Sprite file again. Quickly re-import those. Gives the scene a bit more depth now, having that sort of shadowing on the top. Right, I'm going to draw some wall lights. I'll draw them on the same Sprite file, but I think what I may end up doing with these is having them just as a separate object, and I may make a hierarchy with them and add a lighting effect to it as well, because I think that's what I'm going to go with for this game. In fact, I'm going to have a quick play around with that now. So let's add a layer at the top. call that the lighting layer. Put it underneath the UI. Right, I always forget how to do this, but there's an example somewhere on here. Just open this and have a quick look at, so I can remember how it's done. So we have a light that starts white and goes out, which has destination out. There's 2 layers. Top one's black, not transparent, and forces on texture. So I think that's all we need to do. So what I'm going to do for now is just nick this light out of this project. Not that one, the smaller one. So if I cut that, and go back to my game, and now if I get rid of the transparent on that layer, bring it down to black, and then if I add to this light destination out, what am I missing? Oh, force on texture. I don't think I set that, did I? So there we have sort of a light effect. So I'm thinking what I may do is have some, the player will have a reasonably large light around them, which will sort of follow them around. But I'm also thinking I might have on the walls some smaller lights that just light up little areas so you can see a little bit of what's going on in front. So you might see a shark swimming through, just build a bit of tension up as to what's actually happening. Also, that could just make the game way too hard. I'll leave that in for now, and I may or may not use that. But I am going to draw some lights for these anyway, because whether I do that effect or not, I do want some lights there. Force on texture, yeah. Realised that just before I saw that. I'm not sure whether to go with that effect. I think it might make it too hard, but we shall see. Are you streaming at some point this afternoon, Sticks? Right, we'll add another layer. And on this one we've got to draw some lights. Quick look at my reference. I've got a few reference images of what I was hoping to create things looking like. We'll stick with a brass theme, and everything can have a brass frame to it. Yeah, will be. Cool. What's that time you looking at? Because I'll probably, when you stream, I'll probably hop off and then... was going on just before you went live. I'm probably going to stay on maybe another hour or just less, but so you go live whenever. Right. So that's at 12. So that's 13. And that's 12. I'm in no rush at all. I only didn't go live because I wanted to see what the competition was like. Well, I'm not so sure. I'm feeling better about this game than an hour ago, now that I've started getting some graphics on it, but I'm not 100% sold on the idea. But I'm going to stick with it. I'm actually quite enjoying doing it, even if it's mainly just a pixel art. I'm enjoying drawing. I'm going to give this a bit more of a yellowy feel, the light. Yeah, the graphics always help to make you feel the fun of the game, I think. Yeah, I always try to plan it out and make it fun with just blocks, but I just never feel it until I actually get some sort of graphics in there. Right, so let's cut this out. Create a new file. make it. I'll leave it as that size. And we'll save that as a wall light. Add that into construct. Let's just get rid of the snap to grid for now. Those to the background layer. Add the snap to grid back on. Send that down. Just have a quick look at this light in effect again. What layer? Oh, I've put them on the wrong layer, that's why. Yeah, because I'm thinking something like that maybe, with these lights sort of having random lights sort of on, probably a bit bigger, maybe flickering on and off so that you get a glimpse of enemies coming past, and then obviously the light around the player will light close to the player up. Maybe add sort of an ambient light across the whole scene. Let's have a look. I think this works anyway. Add it onto the lighting layer. Just erase that. Flood fillet maybe 120. Nope, going the wrong way. So maybe something like that, sort of like you vaguely see parts. I think that could work. So sort of basically you'd be able to see bits of the level, and some bits will be brighter than others. Yeah, something to think about. Could have these flickering a bit and then randomly turning on and off. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. This is turning into just a playing about stream, not actually getting anywhere. What about varying the brightness? There's a flicker effect somewhere. Yeah. I'm going to create an object scene. Actually, no, I'm not going to create an object scene at all. Let's have a play about on here. So, flicker. So, add a new effect. How we're getting on, man? We're making some progress, Josh. I'm just playing about at the minute with a possible lighting sort of effect. Where you can roughly see some of the level, but there'll be these brighter lights. But I've got a bit of pixel art done. Got some sort of stuff for the scenery done. So that's where we're at the minute. Or you can edit the opacity. Yeah, I think there's probably lots of nice ways I can do that, but I think I'll leave that for now. I think it's just wasting time. I'll get the level finished and then play about with lighting effects back end of the week probably. Alright, let's go back into a Sprite and get another background tile done. This time we'll add a door, make a door, I think. Right. Add a new layer. Deselect that. Hide that, and we'll work on this layer. Add a door in. Just add it in a random colour for now. We'll have a white coloured door. Sample that colour and the highlight colour. I like your wee ship corridors. Yeah, they're coming on. I don't like drawing wood, and I'm not that impressed with the wood on them, to be honest, but it'll do for now. And I've probably got to put some form of pattern on this wall, or I might just leave it. I just sort of broke it up with some pictures, portals and lights. With a little mini masterpiece there of a tree. Got some panels to these doors. Right, let's add a little handle onto it now. Right, there we have a door tile. Tell you what we'll add in. Yeah, with my door being an even number of sprites, I can't get the spiral exactly in the centre, so do I do one or not? Yeah, why not? We'll go with that. Right, let's add that in now. Let's clone that. Well, there we've got the starts of a corridor. Right, what's next? Right, got to have a go at drawing an enemy. So this could all end in a big failure because I'm not very good at drawing animals. But I'm going to have a go at drawing a shark enemy first. So we will go for roughly players 32 high. We'll go for 24 high and 32 wide, I think. Let's just have a quick look in the game. This fake shark that I made, that's 32 by 16. Player the shark. Yeah, that looks about scale. We'll go with 48 by 24. Which palette did I choose? I can't remember which palette I chose. Journey. Right, let's have a go at this then. Yeah, that's looking a little bit sharky. Well, that's not too bad. I think we can recognise that as a shark. Add it an eye. I think they have like a fin. I think it comes out a bit like that. Move that back slightly. Yeah, that looks better. And mistakenly a shark. Yeah, that's what I'm going for. So I've got a few reference images on the Pure Ref thing, so I'm just working off those. Go with that colour. I think they have some form of like gills here. No, that's not looking. I think I may leave those off and just go for simple shark shaded and. Only thing when you're using a limited palette, you don't always have the exact colours you need, but it does help to hold the whole sort of piece together a bit more. Pure F hot, yeah, it's a great tool, isn't it? I've just thought I've started shading all this and I'm going to need to animate it, so I'd probably be best doing that first. I think I'll just stick it in the game like that for now, and then I'm going to animate it. I always do this, I end up getting a really nice I shade everything in and then remember that I've got to animate it loads, and it's a lot easier just animating with a basic shape. Do select it, I'll add a new layer, copy that entire layer, paste that onto that layer, sample that colour. If you hear a whiny noise in the background, my dog's joined me and he's trying to get my attention. He normally has a chair set up next to me, and he just jumps up and sits next to me, but I've not got it in position at the minute. So if you give me a second, I'll just sort that out for him. Shark lad needs gills. Yeah, just in front of that fin that I've got hanging out near the front, but I'm going to animate it first and then get stuck into the detail more after. Right, let me find a shark animation, shark in movement reference image to Lil DMN. Hi, how's it going? What is the game jam? It's Game Jam 192 that I'm working on. It's a smallish game jam on itch.io. It's run by my local indie game group. It's open to anyone. It's 8 days long, or 192 hours, which is the name. It's this one here. This game jam, see it on itch. The themes, the water levels are rising. If you're a game dev yourself and you want to join, still nearly 7 days left. And I'm just making a small sort of game in Construct 3. Where you swim about. The water level's risen in a ship, it's sunk, and you swim about. You've got to fit these pipes when I put them in position to fix a pump, which will then drain the water from each level. So at the minute, I'll just hide that lighting effect because that's not working at the moment. Where's my player? I've not got a lot of stuff set up yet. So we've got a player who can sort of go in the water and swim about. Can collect these pipes, and then they only fit on various points. These are in the wrong position at the minute. That one should go on this up here, and I've got an oxygen thing that you can collect. When you're in the water, your oxygen level here goes down. We've got a bit of swimming about going on. So I'm just currently working on a bit of pixel art for the game. I'm just working on an enemy at the minute of a shark, which we've got here. I'm just about to start trying to animate it. You can post links, but just chatters can't post. Right, fair enough. I'll put the link into the game jam. There's the link. Is that showing up? Thanks for that, Sticks. I thought it was any links didn't show up in chat on YouTube, but right, let's create a new frame and let's have a go at animating this shark. What I'm going to do though first is just copy this fin, so I've got a reference to that in the why is that not copied, just that part? Get rid of this shading. Right, let's lock that lower level. Add a new frame. And let's have a go at animating. It is. Cheers, Sticks. Thanks for that. Right, sort of getting what I want here. able to draw. What have I changed by accident here? Right, I'm not sure why that's not letting me draw, so let's hopefully it'll reset itself if yep, don't know what setting I'd flicked on them by accident. Let's duplicate that one. And let's move it down a bit, rotate it the other way slightly. Let's get in there. Right, what else? Let's have a look. I think that fin probably needs to move up and down as I'm animating it. I think as the tail goes up, I'm going to move this fin up as well. So that's our starting frame. Add another layer and just draw this fin on its own separate layer. Just for now draw it in a different colour so it stands out above. I can fill this in after. Yeah, that's looking alright. Quite pleased with that. Just cut and paste that in. just move it down slightly. And just cut and paste that onto the other frame. Right, that's coming on quite nicely. Love the wiggle, haha. Cheers, Josh. I like animating things. I do sometimes tend to get wrapped up in it though, and I can see me spending hours and hours on this and not getting anything particularly productive done apart from having a wiggly shark enemy. It's where most of my time when I'm doing a game jam just disappears. I just get engrossed in the art. Right, I think what I'm going to do is animate the bottom of his mouth, because I've just been watching a little video there of a shark swimming and it looks like the mouth sort of moves slightly but more just the bottom jaw. So that's our base frame there. Can see how it would be fun. There's something really charming about pixel art animations, especially the subtle ones. Yeah, I'm no expert by any means in it, but I just really enjoy doing them. Right, so which layer are we working on? Work on this layer. I think I'll probably aim at the full extents of each one to have his mouth closed a little bit. No, I think on these frames 2 and 4 I'm going to have it closed just very slightly, and then it'll just sort of alternate between. I think that'll probably look best. So. Got to copy that mouth shape to the other ones. It looks a little bit better with a slightly longer mouth, and then we'll copy that one to this frame. Yeah, I think when that's ping-ponging the animation backwards and forwards in Construct, that'll probably look okay. So tell you what, I will export that as a sprite sheet now, and I'll just see what it looks like in Construct. So you're working on 5 frames? Yeah, I've got sort of a middle frame, and then 2 with the tail going up, 2 with the tail coming down, and I'll ping pong the animation so it sort of gets to the end and then goes backwards again. Right, let's have a look. Import frames from strip, shark, there's 5 horizontal, loop, ping pong, just preview that. I like the fin animation at the front, I quite like that, but I'm not. This back bit needs some work, that's not the best. Yeah, it just looks really off, does that tail. Right, let's have a quick look what it looks like in the game. Actually, in the game it doesn't look too bad. I need to flip that when it's going the other way. I think I might leave that animation for now, but let's have a look. So shark. I think it's compare velocity I need to do. Yeah. So for each, we'll do it for each shark. I know there's only one at the moment, but there will be more than one. Add a sub event. Side to side for the tail. Yeah, bigger and smaller in and out. Yeah, I think that's what it is. It shouldn't be wobbling up and down. Can have a play around with it though. So compare direction. Invert that one. So that should hopefully now, the shark should Yep, so we've got a shark. Can I think I'll probably give it the normal dark outline that I give most of my sprites as well, so it pops a bit more from the background. Get the shading done as well, but I think that's all I'm going to do for this afternoon. I'm going to stream again this evening, I think. So thanks everyone for popping by. Cheers Josh Sticks for sticking around for most of it, and thanks for everyone else that's popped in as well. Little DMN, Samuel, and Coconut Dev, thanks for all popping by.